Changes from their previous match, and remember, Tottenham are coming into this off the back of a defeat at Newcastle before the internationals. So Vicario in goal, then Porro, Romero, Van de Ven is back, a new doggy. In midfield, Bentancur. Basuma's out injured, was injured on international duty. Sarr's only on the bench. So Bentancur with Kulusevski and Maddison, and then Johnson on the right, Son on the left, and Dominic Solanke, Tottenham's record signing. Their number 19, missed the last couple of matches with an ankle injury, is yet to score for Spurs in his only appearance, and boy did he miss a few chances in that game against Leicester. But what an experience for his home debut, Solanke.
Well, he's going to get a real flavour, isn't he, of what this fixture's all about and what it's like to pull on a Spurs jersey at home. And there's a lot of pressure on them today, and certainly on him to perform, as you've already mentioned.
And Arsenal are without Martin Odegaard, the captain, who is injured. Declan Rice suspended. That is a huge loss. So Jorginho and Martinelli come into the side for those two. Raya in goal, White, Saliba, Gabriel and Timber. Then Jorginho with Partey and Havertz. Then Saka and Martinelli wide, and Trossard through the middle. And what an early test of Arsenal's title credentials this continues to be. They won at Villa, they dropped points against Brighton. Next Sunday, Arsenal go to Manchester City, but now Jared Gillett blows his whistle, and Arsenal in the all-black kit, so it's not red and white, it's a black kit that Arsenal are playing in today against Tottenham in their home colours, the white shirts with the blue trim and blue shorts and white socks. And Arsenal getting the match underway, throwing down the right-hand side, Rice takes it, and already Van de Ven has to leap forward and head it behind the dead ball line for the first corner of the match with less than 30 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, a little bit of shaky start from Spurs, actually. Long ball, Van de Ven doesn't deal with it, and then Arsenal, when it goes out of play, take the quick early throw over the top, and Van de Ven just has to rather clumsily head it out for a corner. And we know how good Arsenal are at set pieces, and actually in the past how poorly Spurs have defended these situations in this fixture.
Yeah, Arsenal 22 goals from set pieces last season in the Premier League. Saka to take this, the star Arsenal man here inside the home of Arsenal's greatest rivals. Saka raises his right arm, left-footed corner into the near post. That's headed away, good distance on that, but Arsenal back on it. Jorginho plays it through, and an important header down, and they should clear. Tottenham, they do, up the left wing, Pedro Porro, and Arsenal back in possession inside their own half. As David Raya's ball downfield is cut out by Maddison on the halfway line. First Tottenham attack, Kulusevski goes down rather easily, I must say, but he's got the free kick. Referee Gillett says, yep, 15 yards inside the Arsenal half, free kick Tottenham.
A good tussle with Saliba and Solanke as well. That's going to be an interesting match-up there. I mean, Solanke, you mentioned before, playing against the meanest centre-back partnership in the Premier League, in my view. It's going to be a lot of physical contact, a lot of jostling for position, and it's certainly started in that fashion.
Well, they were exciting matches last season, weren't they? Ange Postecoglou's first season, the 2-2 draw at Arsenal, when Arsenal led twice in that match, and Son twice equalised, and then here in April, when Arsenal were 3-0 up at half-time, and Spurs staged a bit of a comeback, but Arsenal won it in the end by 3-2. So Postecoglou not yet won a North London derby as the Tottenham manager. I think we were at those matches, weren't we, the two of us together?
David Raya got a little bit lax with the ball, didn't he? He gave away a first goal for Spurs and then put a bit of pressure on Arsenal in that one after being comfortable at 3-0.
Son out to Johnson on the right-hand side, back it comes to Bentancur. The Uruguayan has a look over his shoulder as he receives that back from James Maddison. A couple of assists already for Maddison. This is only Tottenham's second match here this season. Remember the 4-0 win against Everton? It was a 5 Live commentary match on the second Saturday in the Premier League. Cross in from the right-hand side, goes all the way over to the left-hand side. Son gets this under control. Son, excellent scoring record against Arsenal. Just shields the ball, shields it, takes it away and passes it under pressure. Back up the line, Ben White was right there, as close as he could get to the Tottenham captain. Back it goes into the centre circle.
I think that's one of the best matchups on the field today as well. Ben White versus Son. I think that's brilliant. Ben White handled him really well there, but that's going to be an interesting duel.
Yeah, Son 8 goals in North London derbies. Now the ball from the right-hand side from Havertz, but that's cut out, took a deflection, and there's a foul by Martinelli, and it's a free kick for that challenge on Pedro Porro. Free kick to Tottenham on the edge of their own penalty area. Indeed, since Mikel Arteta became the manager of Arsenal back at the end of 2019, Son has scored more Premier League goals against his Arsenal team than anyone else. He's got 7 of them in that time. And of course, Arteta, having just signed the new contract this week. Interesting timing, I thought. It was coming, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they announced it a couple of days before the North London derby. It's not scientific, but my instinct seems to tell me that very often managers lose their next match after signing a new contract.
Is that a study, is that a study that you've done, John?
It's not a study at all. It's what's known as instinct.
Okay.
This often seems to happen. You'll never get stats on that.
Yeah, no.
Throw-in that Maddison takes back into Mickey van de Ven. So Dragoshin is on the bench today. Van de Ven is back. Obviously, very important Van de Ven in the way that Tottenham play under Postecoglou.
Huge. It really does change things.
Tottenham with it, with Solanke. Solanke manages to get it to Son, cuts it back, shot at the near post. The arriving Kulusevski on his left foot, but a good save by Raya. It was more or less straight at him, but it was from close range, and Raya keeps Kulusevski out.
Well, it's just worked brilliantly. I love the movement of Son, comes from the outside to in as Solanke takes the ball wide and then sees the run on the inside. Son gets there, chops it back to the edge of the 6-yard box line. And Raya, yes, it's a comfortable save. He doesn't get too much power on the hit, Kulusevski, but lovely move from Spurs.
I think it was the classic either side of him. It would have been in the net. So it's a corner, Tottenham's first corner. Maddison deep, Raya's gone for it, and he's made the right decision. Backpedaled all the way across his 6-yard box, all in pink he is, caught it, and then overarms it out, but it's tidied up for Tottenham by Bentancur, who got there first, and then the ball back to the right-hand side. A raking pass. Solanke did well, actually, to get his head to it. He was reversing at speed, Solanke, when the pass came his way, and Tottenham still in possession. In the first half here, as we look from this brilliant position, high in the top tier, front of the top tier, on the dressing room side of the ground, Tottenham are attacking from right to left, and here they are, doing exactly that with Udogie, who loves to do this, the left-back, but then miscontrols it, and it's cleared away by Ben White, out of play, just next to where Mikel Arteta is standing. All in black down there, including that jet black, greased back hair of his. Here's Udogie, back to Maddison. Maddison curls a pass right out towards the right-hand side. Romero is there, scored in both of those matches last season, one of them an own goal, as it's played forward down the right, and Johnson wins a corner off Timber.
Well, you just feel the game might be won or lost in those wide areas. I mean, I'm looking at Saka that made that brilliant trap back on Udogie a moment ago. Martinelli doing his defensive duties with Johnson going for a 1-2 behind him. I think defensive responsibility wide is going to be massive for both teams. So it's a corner, Tottenham's second corner, this one from the right. In it comes to the near post, that's headed away by Havertz. Comes out to Porro, gives it back out to the right. In it comes a little flick, saved by Raya. Important flick at the near post, which took it across the 6-yard box. Whether that flick from, I think it was Johnson, was going in or not, I'm not sure. But Raya, wary of the fact that Tottenham had, I think, Solanke at the back post, he had to claw it away, and he did, to comparative safety. Well, there was a lot of bodies, weren't there? It was one of those where it got cleared and then came back in as a second phase. There's a lot of bodies coming out of the box, and it just going through all sorts of legs and arms and shoulders, and it was a sharp reaction from David Raya. Yeah, I think it was Johnson who got there. Here's Kulusevski now on the edge of the area, into the box, left foot shot, but there were defenders there. It was blocked away, and between them, I think it was Gabriel who got the crucial block there. There were a couple of Arsenal defenders, but Gabriel threw himself into the way of the Kulusevski shot just inside the area and blocked it, and Arsenal cleared 0-0. Well, Arsenal having to weather the storm at the moment. It's a little bit rocky, they're under pressure, they need to keep the ball a little bit. They've given it away a couple of times a little bit loosely. They need to get a hold of the ball and just steady the crowd down a little bit. It's very high tempo from Spurs. Oh, that's nice from White to Saka. Saka's ball across the Tottenham penalty area, stretching away by the right foot of Pedro Porro. Now it's
turned back by Kimber to the left-hand side, comes back to Timber, he nods it beyond Martinelli, cheers from the Tottenham fans, out for a throw to the home side.
Should be a better chance, shouldn't it? Saka, that classic run from out, the ball played straight in between the fullback and the centre-back for Saka, got the run on his opponent in that position. Udogie gets behind him, and really, for me, that's a great goal-scoring opportunity. He can't quite find the pass. I don't think Trossard was quite in position, and Martinelli hadn't got inward enough into that back post area for a tap-in, but if he had been in that position, it was a great movement from Saka.
Well, if you've just switched onto us on 5 Live, I hope you're enjoying the wonderful noise from inside the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the North London derby. The 4th league match of this season brings for Tottenham and Arsenal the big one, and it is 0-0. If you're on the move on this lovely afternoon, at least it is here in North London, remember you can listen to 5 Live via BBC Sounds. Take us wherever you go. Maddison through to Son, 30 yards out, turns, sets off goalwards on one of those runs, but Partey puts in the challenge. Udogie those. Means that Tottenham are still in possession. We'll have a choice of listening as well right now. 5 Live with the Premier League, and the T20 live from Old Trafford will be on Sports Extra. Starts at 2:30. Solheim Cup later, and then the NFL as well on Sports Extra tonight. Here is Udogie. Son challenged. White in on Son. It's given as a free kick.
Yeah.
Free kick to Spurs.
I'm not sure, but I think Ben White looked like he just got to the ball first, but the referee, Jared Gillett, didn't seem to think so. Just looking at the replay, I think Son tries to just nick it off him, and yeah, White doesn't get the ball, Son goes down. And just to give you a feel of this game, I think Spurs are 70% possession so far in this game, which would give an indication that Arsenal very much are on the rocks here at the moment.
Free kick to Tottenham. Arsenal have not lost away from home in the Premier League in 2024. They've actually not been behind in a Premier League match in 2024 away from home.
That's remarkable.
Which is a remarkable fact. But I say that because Tottenham have got this free kick here on the left and a chance to put an end to all that. Maddison standing 1 foot in front of the other, off the pitch, now onto the pitch. Right-footed free kick, that's a poor one from Maddison. And it is half volleyed away to the halfway line and then headed out by Udogie. So it's a throw into Arsenal, looking quite unfamiliar in this kit for this match.
It's a strange one, isn't it, for the North London derby? You just expect the red, wouldn't you, in a fixture of this size, but opportunity to wear the black kit.
I think it is that the reason given for it is that sort of clash of colours for people who are colourblind.
Okay.
So that is that's the official reason. Throw-in taken on the halfway line, and Raya rather slices that, but Havertz heads it down the line. But Udogie's going to play it back to goalkeeper Vicario. The Solheim Cup actually is currently on Sports Extra because it is raining in Manchester at the cricket. So it's not a beautiful September afternoon everywhere, as often tends to be the case when you're in one place. Tottenham, Arsenal, Vicario playing it out to Bentancur. Neither Sarr nor Bissouma. Obviously Bissouma can't play because he was injured on international duty, as Brennan Johnson goes down, and I think Timber landed on top of him, which is obviously something you wouldn't necessarily want.
No. And
it's a free kick to Spurs. It's a free kick to Spurs inside their own half.
Yeah, I think he just grabs a hold of him and then Johnson trips him, but the arm is around Johnson as he releases the ball, and it's that full-back one where if a player pops it off, you get your arm out just to try and block him running the other way, and he does that. And then Johnson kind of pulls him, and there's a little bit of a tussle. The referee goes over, waggles his finger in Timber's face to say, don't do that again.
Tottenham get it moving again, forward. Might have come off Udogie's hand, it did. It's a free kick to Arsenal in their own right-back position. So for Arsenal today, if you weren't listening earlier, the substitutes bench, 3 17-year-olds and 2 18-year-olds, although the very, very highly rated Waneri is one of them, and there was some talk that he might actually play in this match. Today, but there's no Gabriel Jesus yet. Zinchenko is now on the injured list. He's got a calf problem. No Calafiori. Marino's got this shoulder injury. But Raheem Sterling is there on the substitutes bench. Did you think he might start today?
No, didn't think he would start, because I think, Trossard, Martinelli, who's going to be in that area, they're going to get the nod ahead of Raheem Sterling at the moment.
And Neto is on the bench, the on-loan goalkeeper. Foul, which is given for Son's challenge on Saliba. You can hear how that's gone down on the halfway line in front of the two coaches. So I've got a feeling that Arteta might have reacted, hence that reaction from the Tottenham fans inside the ground. Free kick is given, and Arsenal play it back to Saliba, who then rolls it all the way back to David Raya, the man who kept more clean sheets than anyone else in the Premier League last season, the Golden Glove winner, the man with the biggest hands in football. He's got the ball at his feet at the moment, puts his foot on it, then passes it out to Partey. Tottenham have got the press on, Maddison, and then it's given away, deflection by White. Solanke, chance gone. Excellent cover there, Gabriel. Oh no, Saliba it was who stepped in. Yeah, stepped in just as Solanke, maybe a couple of yards inside the box, was looking for it to open up for him, and Saliba snuffed it out. That's
what I'm saying about what Solanke's playing up against this afternoon. It's top class. I mean, it's sloppy from Ben White, but the reaction of Saliba was absolutely superb. He identified the danger straight away, sprinted, got across, and what I like, he put the brakes on and didn't dive in too much. And here's Timber away for Arsenal on the left-hand side. He's got some space onto his right foot. The cross to the back post, headed back across the box, and that was fortunate there for Udogie, who got his head to it, that he didn't head it straight to an Arsenal man. Saliba now is picked up for a foul on Solanke, and he's picked up the ball and he's run away with it, and he's yellow carded for that. And there was an inevitability that he would be booked for that. And Maddison's wanting to take a quick free kick, but Jared Gillett is still talking to Jorginho, who is the Arsenal captain. It's a delicate subject, isn't it, around the Arsenal camp, the old kicking the ball away. Ask Declan Rice how he feels, and I think the referee, I mean, they've got to follow the same standards, and if they do, Saliba makes the foul. In fact, the problem is, for me, I'm not sure it is a foul. I think he fairly goes for that ball and he outmuscles Solanke, which is why he's a bit aggrieved that he gets penalised. But then you can't pick the ball up when the opposition are running towards the ball to take a free kick. You can't pick the ball up and run away with it and then drop it further away. So the referee has no choice but to follow the rules, John.
We know, Matt. We saw it before the internationals.
Yeah.
We saw it yesterday.
Yeah, they have to maintain the standard.
Are red hot on this at the moment, and that was he was
yeah.
Mikel Arteta apparently had his head in his hands.
Yeah, I don't think it's a foul though. I think that's the biggest problem. I'm not sure that was a foul. I think he just outmuscled Solanke, and he's been very aggressive in this opening period, Saliba.
And it was a brilliant block. That was a textbook piece of central defending. I mean, you would appreciate that, your old position.
Yeah, because he doesn't. When you're full stretching, it's a little bit of desperation because you've given the ball away on the edge of your own box. You get the tendency to really dive in, and then Solanke, it just makes his mind up to either chop the other way or go past him, but he puts the brakes on and just eases into that block to perfection, really, which, you know, made Solanke look like he didn't take the opportunity, which probably was the case.
It's Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0, but it was a chance for Solanke, as I say, looking to open his account on his second appearance, his home debut for Tottenham after his big money move this summer. And Arsenal, lovely ball in to Timber. Timber shot into the edge of or the legs of Romero just outside the 6-yard box. It rebounds all the way to the halfway line, and Saliba shrugs off Kulusevski, and I think there's going to be fouled by him. He is, but Tottenham are up in arms that Arsenal have been given this free kick, which they're going to organise themselves to take. So let's get another update on how Dan Evans is getting on at the Davis Cup in Manchester from Russell Fuller.
Great Britain need to beat Canada 3-0 to stay in the Davis Cup. Dan Evans lost the first set 6-0 to Denis Shapovalov, but it's 4 games all in the second. I'm in North London Derby football commentary mode, John.
You are, and Havertz here with a chance to open the scoring for Arsenal. Cross from the left-hand side, got up well, but a good save from Vicario diving to his right to parry it, and there was a defender there as well, and they were able to collect it.
Well, Arsenal were just killing the right side of the back four for Spurs at the moment. Porro and Romero not coping with the movement. Martinelli, Timber so advanced up the pitch, creating some really good opportunities on that far side, and Havertz very nearly heading home.
Tottenham on the attack. We're going to go to Virginia as well in a moment to find out how things have started for Europe at the Solheim Cup. The commentary right now on Sports Extra with the cricket having been delayed. Here's Son, though, turns away from White down the left-hand side into the full-back position. There is cover there from Partey, and so he has to use Udogie at close quarters. Udogie puts his foot on it, gives it back to the orange boots of Son on the left-hand side. Then a touch from Maddison. Maddison then all the way back to the centre circle to Christian Romero, who picks out Rodrigo Bentancur. Bentancur is very congested in there, black shirts, white shirts, and then down goes Bentancur. No free kick. Arsenal breakaway down the left-hand side as it's knocked back centrally to Jorginho. Now here's Trossard. Trossard not really been in the game, but that's a lovely ball through to Martinelli, into the box, goes for goal, and it's saved by Vicario, and Saka in the middle says, what about me?
Oh, super play. Trossard was different class here, dropped short. Martinelli spinning in behind. Lovely threaded ball, inch perfect into his feet. He's got to do better there, Gabriel Martinelli. We talk about his end product not being at the level it needs to be. It's the reason why Trossard's knocked him out of the team when everyone's fit, and he doesn't start Martinelli, but just because he just doesn't make the most of those situations. It was a great opportunity, coming inside with his right foot. Really tame effort, straight at Vicario, simple save.
Right to Virginia now in the United States. Ian Carter, is there any sign of the miracle that Europe need?
Well, Charlie Hull's off to a good start. She's birdied the second to put blue on the board. One up on Nelly Corder in what looks like it's going to be a firecracker of a match. But Megan Kang winning the first hole against Emily Pedersen. So Europe up in one, the Americans up in one. Remember, America needing just 4.5 points to win back the Solheim Cup.
Yeah, lots of coverage over the coming hours, and the commentary right now on Sports Extra. It'll be on 5 Live later. So there is, as we mentioned earlier, there's no 6:06 tonight. Robbie and Chris will be back next weekend. Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0, and here is Kulusevski on the right-hand side. Kulusevski, big chance that was for Martinelli, you know, from an angle, left side of the area, with Saka in the middle.
You know, when you're a right footer coming in on the left, you don't get a better angle than that, John, do you? You're running through, bearing down on goal. You've got a lovely angle just to feed it, bend that ball into the far post, and he just executed it really poorly.
Tottenham through the middle to Solanke, and then Bentancur to Johnson on the right-hand side. Johnson challenged, it bounces back to Bentancur, and now Romero just shuffles the ball forward. Maddison then to the right-hand side. Bentancur is there again. Bright sunshine now, shadows being cast across the big broad stripes of the grass at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as Tottenham pass it forward towards Maddison, who turns out to the right-hand side, gets the cross in, which took a deflection, which takes it high, and then Raya's being challenged on the goal line by Solanke, too physically, says referee Gillett. He couldn't blow his whistle quickly enough for that challenge. What do you think?
Don't you think the game would be better if you could actually shoulder charge the goalkeepers into the net like you used to?
I mean, sure, they've gone over the line, that.
Yeah, well, it was close, but it was that old school centre forward bouncing the goalkeeper into the back of the net, holding the ball, wasn't it? It was one of those, and like you say, referees are very quick to blow the whistle for protection of the goalkeeper.
Yeah, young people listening might want to go back and have a look at the Watford-Everton FA Cup final when Andy Gray challenged Steve Sherwood, I think it was, wasn't it? As Tottenham have the ball in their own penalty area, but the Arsenal press is on, and Saka forces the error from Van der Ven, who passes out of play for a throw-in down the right-hand side that White takes. He's looked for that throw-in. In fact, he did that in the first minute for Saka, and this time it's Udogie who touches it behind for a corner.
Second time, they're not tuning in when the ball's out of possession on that throw-in. Ben White's looking to just lob the ball over the top of Udogie into Saka, who has been bright as a button with his movement so far in this first half.
Do you remember that cup final?
No.
Were you there? 80s. Oh, I wasn't there. I was still at school.
Oh, you might have been.
It's a corner for Saka. Saka, left-footed. Arsenal have got players dotted all around the Tottenham penalty area. This is very much the set-piece specialists. As Saka plays it in, and Vicario under pressure palms it away. Trossard with a shot. That's blocked inside the penalty area. It's worked back out to Saka. Saka, left-footed, curls it in. That's a real teaser, and it's headed back across the face of goal, but with no power. And Vicario was able to spin away to his left and catch it.
You just feel that this game is going to hinge on a set play or something like that. Arsenal looking a real threat. certainly on corners.
A long pass through the middle. That was just about dealt with by Gabriel and Ben White together. Kulusevski very nearly found a way through between them there from that long clearance from Vicario. That was right back out of the early 80s as well.
It was. I think it's something, again, they know how Arsenal throw their big headers forward. So if Vicario can get a hold of the ball off of a corner in his hands, that Spurs must have been working on the fact that if you can kick that ball long over the top and cause a problem straight away, then do it. And Kulusevski saw the space and got on his bike, and Vicario very nearly found him.
Arsenal playing it out with Partey to Havertz. Havertz now motors forward, and then it's miscontrolled inside his own half by Ben White, and that just bounces out for a throw-in on the halfway line.
Arsenal coming back into the game a bit, John, aren't they? Starting to get a bit more of the ball. You expect that first opening 5 to 10 minute, certainly here away from home, it's going to be really tough for you. They've come through that and now starting to gain a little bit more in confidence with the ball.
As Solanke is challenged by Saliba, and that is given as a free kick. So this is 15 yards inside the Arsenal half. Maddison takes it early, looking for Johnson, who got a touch to it, but that takes it wide, and Timber has gone out there with him as well. And then Johnson kept it in, played it back up the line. There's no flag over there. Did wonder whether it might have gone out, but the assistant on the far side, James Manring, says no, it didn't. He'll have been looking right up the line there. And so Tottenham take it back towards the halfway line. Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0. Son almost with his heels on the left touchline. Down to our left, Son. Then back to Maddison. Maddison looks up but goes square to the tall, bearded Uruguayan, Bentancur, who's been in the news after that controversial interview that he gave, and he's actually facing an FA charge for the comments he made about his teammate Son. And now here is Porro, who knocks it back to Romero, stationed 10 yards inside the Arsenal half, then through the middle. That bounced off Solanke. Lovely flick there by Kulusevski, but it was cleared away towards the halfway line, and Tottenham will have to start again. Mentioned the Solheim Cup, also the Irish Open. The final round of the Irish Open is unfolding at Royal County Down, where Rory McIlroy still leads on 8 under par. That looks quite spectacular there. Here's Porro now on the overlap, but Porro's cross too close to goalkeeper Raya at his near post, diving back to his post, caught the ball and then quickly got rid of it, played it forward, but that's short from Havertz, and Udogie was onto that in a flash, and Udogie's ball in slightly behind Kulusevski, surrounded by Arsenal players, works it back to Udogie, takes a deflection as the challenge came in from Gabriel. Unfortunately for Arsenal, that deflection took it back to Raya, and the danger had gone.
Wow, this game is everywhere at the moment.
Solanke and Kulusevski now just outside the area, and then a foul by Udogie on Saka. And Arsenal, I think, will just... In fact, a yellow card for Udogie.
Down. Slow. I mean, David Raya twice has just rolled the ball. I mean, it's been really clever distribution, but they're not giving Arsenal a chance. They'd soak up a lot of pressure. He's winning the ball, and then within 2 seconds, bang, is back in play. And I just think this break in play is a yellow card for Udogie with a challenge, and Arsenal happy just to let it settle down a little bit. It was getting a bit frantic, but that challenge from Gabriel, John, just to describe it, it'd slide past, and I think it cut inside, and it was going to be a certain goal, but his trailing leg just caught the ball and almost knocked it up against, I think it might have been Solanke or Kulusevski in the position, and it just spun up in the air for David Raya.
Oh, given away, seized back by Maddison. Kulusevski now rides the challenge. No, he doesn't. Saliba comes out with the ball quite brilliantly. I thought he was through there, and there were options either side with Tottenham pouring forward, but now it's Arsenal as Trossard's pass infield just presents it back to Spurs, and Van de Ven's going on one of those runs, and Van de Ven plays it beyond Maddison, but down the left wing for Son, who's able to trot after it, and then Son flicks it inside the penalty area. Maddison curls it all the way to the back post, a stretching header back across, goal drops wide of the post. I mean, Johnson Solanke somehow got his head to that, to nod it back across goal. I don't think it was ever threatening to drop in, but even so, Raya was scrambling and probably was relieved to see it.
He wasn't sure, and I think the goalkeeper was sure, but I mean, these players, that is very close on the replay. I mean, that's a couple of inches wide. That is very nearly looping into that back post, but these players are blowing at the moment, John. I'm telling you, we're 27 minutes in, the pace of the last 10 minutes it's been a slugfest, isn't it? Nobody's interested in keeping possession. Instead, it is just going at each other toe for toe. Fantastic to watch, but I don't know how long it can continue. Sooner or later, it's got to simmer down a little bit.
Almost half an hour played. Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0. And I mean, it is a warm afternoon here. Summer is back in North London.
Yeah.
I was in Hyde Park this morning. It was absolutely lovely.
Jogging?
I was.
Were you?
Yeah.
Very nice.
It was lovely.
Hamstring all right?
Thanks for asking. Yes, it is.
Fine, yeah.
Yeah, you did the trick there.
Just stretching off beforehand.
No further problems to report. Throw in that Ben White takes back to Saliba. And then Raya controls it, and the Arsenal goalkeeper downfield, Havertz, the tall Havertz, gets up, wins the header. Then it's back to Martinelli, who tried to find Havertz. Important sliding challenge on the edge of the area from Van der Ven, and then Tottenham sees it back. Romero plays it into the path of Kulusevski, who is marauding downfield for Tottenham Hotspur. Johnson over there in the orange boots goes back centrally, and then Bentancur and Arsenal are now all right back in position. I must ask you how you think that they're managing Arsenal without Rice and Odegaard, because under Arteta now, it's such a rare sight to see them without one or both of them. In fact, Rice has been involved in every Premier League match Arsenal have played since he signed for the club.
Yeah, it doesn't carry the same physicality, do they, in that middle, which is a big problem. I mean, that was a great interest. Jorginho gets to the ball, does well, but then just gets a little bit bumped off it. The possession turns over. I feel someone like Rice, he just, gets hold of that ball and he doesn't give it up. He's got that physical presence and drive that just makes it happen a little bit more. So out of possession today, Arsenal are a different animal for sure.
Yeah. And this is Jorginho's first appearance of the season as Tottenham, with the cross from the right-hand side, but that's over everyone. But Son prevents it from going out of play. Son then picks out Udogie on the edge of the area to Maddison. Maddison very congested in there, drags it back, gives it to Son. He curls it in, but over the Arsenal goalkeeper. Johnson's gone down under the challenge from Timber, but the ball was already away and behind. And the shouts, such as they were from the stands, are ignored by referee Gillett. It's a goal kick and it's still 0-0. Matt Upson.
Yeah, it was never a threat for a penalty or anything. I think just Timber's holding his position. Is his arm a little bit around Johnson? Yes, but he's entitled to stand his ground and just make that contact at the back post. Defenders do that, just like to feel like you're close enough to affect the opponent's run, and he does that well.
So we're still waiting for the opening goal. We've also got commentary later on Wolves Newcastle. Rangers did win. If you just switched on, Rangers won 1-0 with the goal from Tom Lawrence at Dundee United. And Portsmouth West Brom will be underway at 3 o'clock in the Championship. We'll keep you updated on that during the course of the afternoon. But Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0 as Gabriel plays the ball back to Raya, who was often a run outside the penalty area. But there was no one there for Tottenham to take advantage when the ball went one way and Raya went the other. So Arsenal have it quite comfortably. And then here's Havertz, who has been eased into by Bentancur and then goes down. And
wow,
yellow card for Bentancur. Now, did he see just a little kick at him in there?
I think he was a little bit keen in the first instance. He had a little kick out at Havertz, who rode the tackle, and then he came back. There was 2 fouls in one, really, and I think that referee might have looked at it and gone, that's just too much, I'm going to get the yellow card out. But Bentancur was really surprised, but he did make an initial kick out, like you mentioned, John. He wasn't going to win the ball, but Havertz stayed on his feet.
So it's a free kick to Spurs, to Arsenal near the halfway line. Well, just over half an hour played. Mention the fact that Arsenal won here in April. They've won their last 2 North London derbies here at the Tottenham Stadium. Spurs just 1 win in their last 7 against Arsenal. Havertz on the right, Saka, then back to Ben White, goes cross-field, the pass right to the feet of Martinelli, who controls it. 2 Tottenham defenders in front of him. Timber is now taking possession of the ball. Martinelli is backed away out to the left-hand side, does well, works it to Timber into the box, but across comes Bentancur to block it behind for an Arsenal corner from the left.
It was nice, wasn't it? Lovely interchange, delaying the pass, waiting for the movement of Spurs. They're having trouble, Spurs, with that Arsenal left-hand side. The right-back Porro and Romero, I think they're really struggling to get to grips with the movement, but there has been some clever passing from Arsenal, and they've now got an opportunity to put a corner in, and they gather all at the back post. Spurs are a mixture of zonal, and they've got some man-to-man in there with Gabriel, Havertz, Timber, Partey, all standing right at the back of the 18-yard box and will run to the front post.
That's what they're doing now. It's a packed 6-yard box as it comes in, and Vicario went for a punch, missed it completely, and referee Gillett says it was a touch. Well, Vicario's saying that no one got a touch, but the referee said he's clearly seen a Tottenham touch in some shape or form.
He touched it.
Water's gone for a Burton.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought, it's all right, I've saved it.
He definitely touched that, Vicario, for sure. I know he was complaining that he didn't, but he put his left glove up. He didn't get too much of a touch on it, not enough than what he hoped to, and it certainly glanced off his fist.
It poured all over the television screen. I was worried it was going to explode. It's all right now. Corner then from the other side for Arsenal. Saka is waiting to take this. He's just off the pitch. Referee Gillett is speaking to Gabriel and Romero. And then they move away and say, yes, sir, yeah, absolutely. And then they move away and start wrestling.
Straight into a grapple.
Both hands on each other. Saka then, all movement in the 6-yard box. It's played in short this time. That was clearly worked on, the plan there, but it didn't work because Pedro Porro was in like a flash and cleared it away and ran after it downfield. Forward again from Raya, still 0-0. 10 minutes to go to half-time. It's been very entertaining, I must say, but
absolutely
yet to provide a goal. Trossard as well, picks out Martinelli. Martinelli now into the penalty area, running at Porro, but Porro gets a foot on that, and then he actually runs into Kulusevski, which very nearly gave the ball back, and Spurs, Bentancur just got there, and then passes it to Kulusevski, who's under pressure, and Arsenal with Timber, and then Timber in on the challenge on Porro. That's a free kick. Timber is a judge, and he's
still
still
going.
Here. Timber, and the yellow card is already out, and then now it's all flaring up now. This is classic North London derby anger between the players of Tottenham and Arsenal. That challenge from Timber, and now general milling around, pushing, shoving. Almost every player is involved in this, apart from Porro, who's lying in a heap after that challenge from Timber. It's only going to be a yellow card. The Tottenham fans in that huge south stand behind where all this is happening are all clamouring for a red card. Yeah. But referee Gillett has, I think, managed to calm it all down, and now Vicario and Gabriel are having a set two. It's just a discussion, but Vicario is suggesting that Timber went into that with an outstretched leg. And so VAR will be looking at this.
Yeah, I mean, like we know, you're not out of the woods yet if you're Timber, because I haven't seen the replay, haven't put one up on our screen that's still working after you tried to shower it with water.
That's George who did that.
Okay. But it had a feel more of an upper body contact, if I'm honest. I mean, Porro's on the floor holding his ankle.
Here it comes.
It's a little bit scruffy and messy in that fullback position. I don't think there's too much there from Timber. It's a little bit high the way he steps into the tackle, but
stepped into the tackle with a high foot, but not with an aggressive.
It didn't have the force.
Not with an aggressive force.
No.
So I think they'll stick with the yellow card.
Or intention. I mean, he just catches the inside ankle of Porro, who's still laying on the floor, but there's been no treatment in all this time coming on, so I don't know if he's going to get up or he needs a physio, or he's taking his time, isn't he?
Yeah, so while Porro gets up, Porro, not Poirot.
Yes. Used to be on a Sunday.
Poirot, songs of praise. Anyway, it's we've got a stoppage here, so let's see what is happening, if there's any sign of a recovery by Dan Evans in the Davis Cup in Manchester with Russell Fuller.
Not to be, John. Great Britain are out of the Davis Cup. Denis Shapovalov has beaten Dan Evans 6-love, 7-5. So this tie against Canada is still alive, but Britain are out, and Canada instead will be heading to the knockout stage of the Davis Cup finals in Malaga in November.
So there we are. Thank you, Russell. That was always the way that it looked to be heading, and uproar here because Vicario has been yellow carded, and I think the referee Gillett has seen him as the aggressor in the whole of the mass. I mean, it wasn't a brawl, it was a sort of shoving match.
Now let's face it, it didn't need the reaction, did it? And it's far too much hype for a challenge that went in. Foot's a little bit raised. The ball is there to be won. He's got every right to challenge, but it's just the manner that he goes with the outside of his boot, and it is slightly off the ground and catches Poirot on the side of his ankle.
Yeah.
And it's nothing more than that, and it's a lot of fuss, really.
Yeah, he's okay. Timber's booked, Vicario's booked, and the ball is deflected out by Havertz for a throw to Tottenham halfway inside their own half. Atalanta are actually playing at the moment, and the reason I mention that is that they are Arsenal's opponents in the Champions League on Thursday. That's one of our commentaries. You'll hear that live from Bergamo Thursday night. Atalanta 1, Fiorentina 2 is the latest score. Moise Kean has just put Fiorentina in front in that match. Past the Harry Kane mural on the way here today. Matt scored a hat-trick last night, Harry Kane, after his 2 for England that we saw on Tuesday night. So off to a roaring start, just like Haaland.
He's not in bad form at the moment, is he?
No.
It's good to see him back and fit and firing the goals in.
Yeah, we're very much looking forward to bringing you coverage of all of the British sides in the Champions League this week, and 4 commentaries, and they start 5:45 Tuesday, so it'll be an early finish to drive on Tuesday, because we will be in Bern to bring you the commentary on Aston Villa's first match in that competition since 1982. Young boys against Aston Villa, 5:45. And then Milan, Liverpool that night, live from San Siro. Manchester City, Inter, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock, and then Atalanta, Arsenal on Thursday. And Tottenham are involved next week in the Europa League against Qarabag, because this week they play Coventry on Wednesday in the Qarabag Cup, which will be on Sports Extra. And Arsenal with a throw down the right. They've gone for that throw again from White to Saka, but this one comes off the Arsenal man and is through for a goal kick.
They tried to bring it down over his shoulder, but he did get the wrong side of Udogie again. I mean, if you're Mickey van der Ven, you are sharply in Udogie's ear saying, how many times is he going to throw that ball over your head on a throw-in? Get the other side and get somebody in front of you. Okay, it's gone out for a goal kick this time, but they've conceded 2 corners from that, which is a key goal-scoring opportunity for Arsenal. They need to stop getting caught out in that fashion.
Tottenham still waiting to take this short goal kick, which Romero does across the penalty area. The official line, by the way, Vicario was booked for adopting an aggressive attitude as it comes back into the Tottenham penalty area, and then Bentancur got the final touch on that. Trossard was in there with him. It is a corner, and that's all come from a Tottenham goal kick.
It's a messy piece of play. For some reason, Vicario's not taking the goal kick. Romero's taking the goal kick. He's got no one to pass it to. I mean, it's all a bit fiddly in and around the Spurs 18-yard box, and they've invited the pressure on themselves.
This feels like a dangerous time for Tottenham.
Yeah.
Because they have allowed I think the whole business with the Porro challenge and everything that happened in the aftermath of that, Timber's challenge on Porro, I think it feels like it's upset their equilibrium in the match. And now Arsenal are organising themselves for another one of these complicated, well-rehearsed set pieces. Saka plays this one in deep across the penalty area, taken down by Martinelli. Kulusevski's got to be careful in on the challenge. Martinelli keeps it, drags it back, still going. Martinelli, Tottenham players all round him, and then Udogie gets a touch in that, is able to take it away, but Martinelli has blocked it back into play as he was trying to clear it. Now it's over on the left-hand side with Arsenal, comes back to Jorginho. Then back to Saliba, who works it to the right-hand side. This is good from Arsenal, very good. Last 5 minutes of the first half, Saka, square, Partey flicks it into the box. Havertz chests it down, comes off Saka and bounces well wide, actually, 4 or 5 yards for a goal kick, 0-0.
Well, Kai Havertz has been very effective with his height and aerial presence in this game so far. From that midfield area, he's flicked so many longer kicks on from Raya into the path of Saka, into the path of Martinelli. He's actually been a problem for Spurs. They're not really competing with him, and he uses his body really well there. As we look at Van der Ven again taking the goal kick, rolling it 2 yards into Vicario, and now it's a 3v2 in and around their own 18-yard box.
And they're in danger of losing it. Van der Ven is shielding it from Havertz in the left-back area. That's where it ended up after the goal kick, and then he wins a throw-in.
I don't see the gain of that.
How many times do we talk about it?
I know, it's fascinating, really. I mean, it's such a tight area to play those kind of passes, and especially if the goalkeeper's not taking the goal kick. You know, you roll it inside in front of your own goal, 5 yards away from the position that you are with the ball.
There was a classic goal that was doing the rounds yesterday from playing out from the back, which is one of the worst I've ever seen. Here's Jorginho, and then Bentancur steps in, and Bentancur gives it to Pedro Porro, and then Porro over the halfway line into the path of Johnson. Johnson right side of the area shoots, but Tottenham very effectively there from defence to attack, and Kimber blocked it out for a corner to Tottenham at the other end.
Yeah, they got the pass out from the throw-in, broke the line and were away. It's how quickly Spurs can hurt you with the pace they've got. Lovely slipped pass into the middle of the park. The ball fed wide to Johnson, who likes to really enjoy those open spaces, but good positioning from Timber. Doesn't dive in, just angles him, forces him on the outside and gets the block in.
Into the last 2 minutes of the first half here on 5 Live at the Tottenham Stadium. 0-0. Corner for Spurs, which is headed away by Havertz. Had to stoop forward. Havertz, who is actually, talk about him playing in midfield, but he's actually playing in a very advanced role, and to my eye, it's Jorginho and Partey who are like a two, and Havertz and Trossard in a very advanced roles through the middle, as just keeping an eye on Jorginho there, who went in on a challenge with Maddison, but Maddison did well from there actually, got straight up and gives the ball to Bentancur, and then back to Maddison near the halfway line. The social media post from the Premier League Match Centre on Timber's challenge said it was a reckless challenge but not serious foul play, so that's why it was a yellow card for Timber. Here's Vicario, long from the Tottenham goalkeeper through the middle. Solanke is being closely watched by Gabriel, who almost had his arms around him, got a foot in on that. Timber missed so much of last season, just 3 appearances, races the ball away down the left, but Porro played it off him and out of play for a throw-in to Spurs.
He looks good physically, Timber, doesn't he? Very punchy, aggressive player, steps into challenges just like that one. Maybe a little bit over the top in his yellow card, but so far in this game he's been very good in handling Brennan Johnson, who is a handful in terms of pace. I think he's a good addition to that Arsenal back four.
Yep, and with the injuries, I mean, this is only his 7th appearance.
No, he's needed at the moment for sure.
Yeah, in competitive matches. And Tomiyasu's out injured, and Zinchenko now on the injured list as well.
I don't think you could play Zinchenko in this game, John, with the amount of those 1v1s. I think it'd be really hard for him.
I think Timber does look like the first choice, doesn't he, in that position at the moment. Here's Son, edge of the area, Son centrally, and then takes it out towards the right-hand side. We've not really seen him there at all in the game, Son. And right here in the last minute of the first half, in fact 3 minutes of added time have just gone up for the end. We'll have more at half-time on the what sounded like a very dramatic Azerbaijan Grand Prix. That's coming up at half-time. We'll have the reaction. But Tottenham now with Kulusevski. He's into the D, might have a chance here. Lays it to his right, but then a wasteful shot by Johnson, who puts his hands on the top of his head. From the angle, there were bodies in there as well, but he slashed it wide at the top of the near post.
Well, it all comes from a kerfuffle where Trossard's not willing just to put his foot through the ball. He wants to find a perfect pass out from the edge of the D at his own 18-yard box. It's not there. He gets robbed. Kulusevski does really well, slips the ball wide, and then it's a first-time effort. It's a difficult one when the ball's rolling across your body. He's on his right foot, Brennan Johnson, and just lifts it over the crossbar. But at this stage of the game, with 46 minutes into the first half from Trossard, that is a put your foot through it and get up the pitch. Don't need to find that perfect pass at the moment.
Matt Upson with us on 5 Live, one of our stars at the Euros, Matt. Seems like 5 minutes ago, doesn't it, that we were
of the Euros,
touring. That's what we say.
Slightly over the top.
That's what we say in the media. Here's Trossard now to Saka. Saka across to Jorginho, who's shrugged off the ball by Kulusevski, and that's a free kick. And this is a good position for Arsenal at the set piece.
Who's getting the yellow card? Is that
Kulusevski? And he's going to have a word as well with Van der Ven.
There was 2 challenges because Trossard's down on the floor, and I think he's gone. I mean, straight away, Jarrod Gillett pointed to the first one and then to the second one where he's given the actual free kick, because I think he maybe played an advantage.
Yes,
would I be right in saying that? And Son's having a word with him, saying, hold on a minute, there's a foul here, and we've got 2 yellow cards, and he's having to explain that there was an earlier foul, but he's not been shy in getting the yellow card.
He has not. Well, we've had 2 for the price of 1 there for Kulusevski and Van der Ven.
I think the first one is. I've just looked at the first on the replay. It is a yellow card for Van der Ven for me, but the one for Kulusevski is a little bit harsh. A little bit harsh, I think.
He's doing what will, I'm sure, be referred to at the PGMOL meeting in the morning as an Anthony Taylor, after his 14 yellow cards last night.
Yes. Was that a record?
Well, I watched that match on the television and I thought, well...
And there wasn't a tackle.
Wasn't it really? I wouldn't have described it as a 14 yellow card match. No. But we've now had 5 Tottenham and 2 Arsenal.
Perhaps there were 10 players that just nudged the ball away when they shouldn't have done, Joe.
Yes, could be one for Poirot. It's a free kick.
Further investigation.
Yes, to be made. Free kick that Arsenal have.
And we are now in the 3rd minute of added time. Saka peels away, so it's actually going to be taken by Trossard, which he does now. Plays it into the Tottenham area, takes a flick off a head, might even have been Gabriel's head that took it out to the far side. Johnson clears to the halfway line, and I think that will be it for the first half. No, it's not. It's fired forward for Arsenal, but through to Vicario. So there have been chances. Martinelli's was a good chance, you know. There is the half-time whistle, a mild chorus of boos. I think that's directed at the referee. Martinelli, big chance, that was saved. Havertz with the header. Solanke, you know, that was a good opportunity. Kulusevski with the early effort. But it's been played at a million miles an hour, and all of those yellow cards.
Yeah, I've been engrossed in this first 45 minutes. It's been fantastic, really, to watch, to be here, to sample the atmosphere. Two teams that I have to say are putting it all out there. They're going in at half-time, and I think pretty exhausted, if I'm honest, John. The speed and the pace and the end-to-end of this game, it's not settled at all. It's really edgy, loads to play for, could go either way. And yeah, it's going to be a fantastic second half, you feel.
Yeah, just lacks a few goals. Maybe they'll come in the second half. But at the break here, Tottenham 0, Arsenal 0.
Thank you, John. I mean, one thing you would hope for, Matt, at half-time is that everybody just settles down a little bit. I mean, there's so much quality on the pitch, but nobody really is having the chance to put their foot on the ball and do anything about it. It's a million miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, saying from a fitness perspective, Fletcher, this must be, you know, a real high-end game. I'm looking at the fullbacks, Ben White, a couple of times. I can see he's, you know, when the mouth is open and you're trying to suck air in, and it's like he's to and fro, and he's getting out to Son, and then he's running up the pitch, and then there's a counter-attack. It's very end-to-end, which, like you say, is not controlled football, but it ain't off entertaining to watch.
The one thing that struck me when I was watching that first half is the two key absentees for Arsenal are exactly players who can try and slow it down for them in Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard.
Yeah, they've got a bit of that composure and calm on the ball, and I think Arsenal just feel more secure with them in the team. They haven't got that presence out of possession to really feel that they can lock things up when they're up and in and around Spurs' 18-yard box. Normally Odegaard and Rice really, and Partey, really lock that area up nicely, and they keep regaining possession when it gets cleared. They haven't quite got that quality in there, which is making it a lot more open. And that's why it's just so end-to-end for me.